Okay, we've just checked in here. We've got campsite number B2, and let's hit the sandy road and see what it's like. I've deflated my tires to 1.4 for the vehicle and 1.5 for the trailer at first. So let's see how it goes. As it was a hot day, the sand was very loose. It was an 18-kilometer stretch of heavy sandy road, which made the fuel consumption skyrocketing before we could turn right onto a more solid 2-spur road. We have battled through some heavy, thick sand sections, and now we've taken the last turn off for another 14 kilometers to Baines Baobab. This road is much harder and better, so that should be easy driving. Now, first animal that we see close to Baines Baobab, little baker or something. So we have arrived at the pans, but it's very confusing because the map the lady gave us at the gate, we understood that number 2, BO2, should be at the Baines Baobab 3, which is not. So we passed the 3 and we are keeping on the left side of the pan as we go down. Okay people, it's time for some feedback. As you can see here behind me, this is Baines Baobab. Now there are a couple of trees, not only these ones, but these are probably the main ones that I normally would refer to. Now the directions that we were given were good until we arrived here. There's a signage just up here which says campsite number 2 and 3, and we are number 2 is this way. So we have been driving all along the edges of the pan, all along to quite a distance on the other side, with no indication of anything whatsoever. Now I must admit, I should have filled at least one of my cans with petrol, so I don't have spare petrol, and I'm just above quarter tank at this point here, so I can't afford to drive left, right, all across this place. So then we decided, okay, we're gonna come back and we park here and we're gonna wait and see if somebody else pitches. Yeah, fortunately exactly that happened. So 2 gentlemen, and they were 4x4, who are meant to be staying on site number 3, came past. They then informed us that there has been a double booking on number 3, and there is already 8 people there, and now they have been slotted with us on campsite number 2, which is not a problem to us in any case. I mean, it's always nice to have some conversation with people and listen to their stories and so on. So what has happened now, due to the petrol problem, they have left and they are driving all along, and I just saw them right on the other side there, and because they've got enough fuel, but they've got diesel, so they can't help me. And then once they are sorted and they find the place, they will come driving back. So what I did is, I've got a two-way radius. I gave one set to them, and it's a little bit far for that small handheld jobby of mine, but when they come back they can call us and say, okay, come that way again, and then they'll wait for us and we'll follow them until finally we can find the campsite. Okay, besides this small little hiccup and dilemma, one now thinks about, if you want to take photos of these trees, and the golden hours are obviously early morning and late evening, but you are like miles away that side, so just remember that. So you've got to drive back here every time if you want to come and take photos, and so forth, showing your petrol of course. But like I said, that was my problem. I caused it because I didn't fill my spare tanks and so on. So that is the current situation. So we're waiting for them to return and to tell us, yeah, follow us, what's the story on the other side. Okay, so I'll keep you posted. It's interesting times. Let's see how it plays out. You pay for your mistakes, eh? Well, in the meantime, let's take some video of these incredible trees. You can see they are quite big. I had to walk some distance into the pan so as to get them into the viewfinder. Incredible, hey? They must be flipping thousands of years old. Hey? They have really stood the test of time. Right, these guys seem to have found campsite number 2. So they came back a little while, and on the radio we confirmed, and now we are following them all the way back. Now, I would say that they should actually on their map at the gate tell you how many kilometers you need to drive on the side of the pan before you get there. Else if you drive according to Tracks for Africa, it shows like you're in the middle of nowhere. And then the obvious thing that's going to happen is you're going to doubt yourself, the map, anything, because you don't know are you going in the right direction or not. Very confusing. Bundu bashing to get there. But you have to stay off the pan, else you get bucked there. Kijk, jy sou mos nou nie hier deur kom gery het. Was eie is dit nie. Saai. Nooit. Nie sommer. Ek hoop ons kan nou net om hier te ry, asseblief. Hier so staan, wag hulle, of hulle wag net vir ons. Ja, gaat ons aan. Ah, kijk hier zo. Can you believe it? Finally, we get to something which says BO2. So we go left in here. Can you believe it?
So ons staan by 'n krommetaart.
At least we have a Boabab tree. 2 of them, at least, big ones.
Hulle kan hulle vier.
Fantastic. Okay, we have made it. We have made it.
En dan kies ons hierdie kant.
Okay. Kom ons hoor gebeur.
Ons sou dit nooit gekry het nie.
Nee, weet jy wat?
Okay. Dis reg. Baie dankie. Ons sou al lank omgedraai het.
It was evening, and then we rose to a beautiful sunrise. Good morning, folks. Okay, this is the morning after the first night that we have slept over at Baines, and I think we just need to reflect on what happened yesterday. So what I've learned is that if you come along the B300 past Rakops, that is definitely your last place for petrol, and I failed to fill my 220-liter containers, or at least one of them, with petrol. So it is still currently a dilemma for us to get out here tomorrow morning. So from the main entrance gate here at Baines, you go on a very sandy stretch for 18 kilometers. Then you make a sharp 90-degree right turn, and where we have been booked is campsite B02. You go on a 14-kilometer road then, which is much less sandy but very bumpy, and the center of the road at places are quite high, so you really need a high clearance to go past there. So the 14 kilometers basically is from the turn-off point to, I would say, the main Baines Boabab tree. Then at the tree you get a sign which just shows forward campsite number 2 and 3. Well, we had no indication of how far it was to the campsite number 2 and 3. So we drove probably about 2 kilometers on the edge of the lake, and then because of the shortage of petrol we were very unsure what to do, and we stopped and we turned around and went back to the tree, and we decided, okay, let's wait there, somebody has to come by. Well, 10 minutes later, here who are now our neighbors on the same campsite, they arrived there. So obviously they found the site and they called us, and then we followed them, and we are here. So we're going to stay here for the whole day. They are going to another area to do some game viewing, and we're simply not driving around due to the petrol problem. Whilst driving on that 40-kilometer strip, I heard a very concerning knocking sound. It was more like a bang, bang, bang sound at the back of the vehicle. I stopped twice and did some inspection. First I thought it was the spare wheel of the trailer that has possibly come loose. Nope, it wasn't that. And I was checking under the car and pulling on all the levers and stuff there, and I couldn't see anything obvious that was loose or so. And we simply had to continue, and I just drove like very slow eventually, but now and then the sound was there, and I was trying to match the sound with the condition of the road. That was also very difficult to match it precisely, to say, okay, if this is the circumstances, then that is the noise. Eventually we arrived here, and just a couple of minutes ago I decided to have a look. It was very nice clearing here, so I got under the car again, and I found the problem. The lowest point of an X-Trail is the exhaust box at the back, and I was lying under the car and I looked up and I saw that the hole, it's mounted on the rubber, but if you push it at the bottom, the top knocks on a sort of a covering plate where your fuel tank is, below that. And I could clearly see the shiny mark here where this box was hitting the thing like bang, 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 like that. And I'm basically 100% sure that is the problem. Okay, so the people that's with us here, 2 gents with their Hilux, we are getting along very nice. We had a big fire going here last night. They are also leaving tomorrow, and they are going to take our trailer and hook it behind their bucket because they don't have a trailer. So they're going to take our trailer for us out all the way to the main entrance gate, and they will leave it there for us. The benefit is twofold. First of all, there's much less weight at the back of my X-Trail, so there might still be some banging, but much less. And also it's definitely going to save me on petrol consumption. I don't have to pull the trailer as well. So that is the best possible scenario for us. Yes, that is the price to pay if you don't have fuel. I mean, you can just drive very slowly for the banging, but all in all it's a win-win situation for us. So that is our story. Some stressful excitement, if I can call it that, but that's reality. These are the kind of things that can happen to you, and I share this with you, especially like I've said in the beginning. If you're planning to come here, I'm sharing some useful information Don't arrive at the Baines Boabab tree and think you're going to find the camping sites there. No, 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 it's a couple of kilometers further on the road, and then you will get a signage telling you here is camp number 2, and another 2, I don't know, let's say 2-3 kilometers on, you're going to get campsite number 3. So it's all turned out well for us. We've got some good partners here on the site, because they apparently had a double booking on site number 3, and so the people at the gate say they must come with us because only the 2 of us on the site, and there's enough space for us here. There's a toilet facility here, a long drop. There's even toilet paper here, can you believe it? I was quite impressed. And then they have your real bush shower, like a Petrol system there with a bucket you can hoist up. Unfortunately it doesn't have a tap to close it off, so once the water is in, it's just gonna run through. So I've got my own shower thing that I can switch on or off with electric pump from a container. And yeah, I did my naked shower here next to the vehicle yesterday afternoon. No sweat, no problem. At least I had a decent shower, I was cleaned out properly. Okay folks, so this is the spot that I found underneath the car where it was making the banging sound. Right here, you can see how this exhaust does that. So if you look at the condition of the exhaust underneath, let me try and show you. It's full of dents right underneath there, as it has hit so many sand and grass and stuff. So that is what has caused this to happen. So at least I found it. Then if you know what it is, then you're less concerned. We spent the day around the camp taking some photos, having a look at the area, but not going too far from the campsite because it's still wild camping and you don't want to run into some dangerous animals. The evening we had a lovely braai, but unexpectedly the weather changed and the wind came up, the clouds packed, and it came thundering down. It was raining in buckets and it continued mostly through the night. And the next morning it cleared up early morning, and we got up and we packed up as soon as we can and made ready to leave. We had some heavy downpours last night, and of course the first thing that you're concerned about is how on earth are we going to get out of these pants. So we have been negotiating the edge of the pan, going mostly through the grass fields. Once or twice we had to cross small little sections, but we did walk them at first and it's been pretty good going. So the nerves have calmed down a little bit already, but it's still a long way to go. Shortly we will finish with the pan, but then on the single track road there's one section where there's quite a deep rut, and the center part is much too high for my vehicle. I will simply get bellied there, and the problem is the embankment on the one side is so steep, and especially after the rain the car is just going to slip down. So we'll see when we get there how we're going to negotiate that one. We will probably have to go through the veld and make it there to if there isn't one. But let's keep the hopes up, and ja, hold thumbs.
Hier is ons chommies, het begin reën, se pan. Ag nee, dis niks.
Okay, I think the worst section should be over by now, except this little piece here. I've basically at Baines Baobab now. Let us see what happens here. It's steep behind. Keep the momentum. just as we thought we were safe, then they got stuck in front of me. Oh. Okay, here we have to negotiate the last sort of a pan crossing. Else we've got to do a hell of a detour around this bank. So let us see what's going to happen here. This is the last one. Hopefully we're not going to get stuck here. Let's see, let's go walk it a little bit. Hope for the best. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Keep it flat, keep it flat, keep it flat, and keep it going. Okay, we did it, we did it, we did it. I forgot to put the camera on. We just made it through the rut. My car didn't slip off the embankment. Yeah, what a relief. Yeah, okay. Now it's on the bigger sandy road, and due to the rain, it's nice and compact, so the going is going to be much easier.
Continue on the nearby trail on gravel.
Okay, this is going to be right. We are still negotiating this sandy route. This nearly at the end 3 kilometers, and we make a quick left and a quick right, another 2 kilometers maybe, and then we at the entrance gate. We're gonna make it. My aim is to get there without my reserve petrol light going on. Then I'm very hopeful we're gonna make it to Gueta, where there's petrol. I'll never forget this. Always have at least 1 tank spare. Yes, that was a stupid mistake on my side. Alright, we've made it to the gate without the fuel reserve light coming on. Now we're heading to Gueta. And we should make it to there and get some fuel there.
Continue on A3.
And then we will continue to Elephant Sands. That's where we will be staying over tonight. Okay peoples, this is Gueta. We made it. There were 2 liters of petrol left in the tank. So now at the garage they've got a wash bay. And because we come from the Ngai pan, which is a salt pan, I'm going to pay them 100 pula, and they're going to spray the vehicle and the trailer underneath and everywhere, so we can wash all the salt water off. I think it's a must do. I really don't mind paying 100 pula for that service now.